So how does it all look? Is my hair good? It's all
Because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family.
Well, that's just not true.
I didn't know much about him.
Well, that's just not true. I'm not sure exactly what the outcome will be, but definitely not.
Why everyone calls Meghan Markle the loudest and bravest public figure of our time. Yet she went totally quiet when the royal family faced the biggest and most explosive scandal ever, and nobody could understand how a woman who talks so much about truth suddenly had nothing to say.
But it's very disturbing what Ghislaine says about Meghan, that Meghan was part of that ring. Why else would Virginia Roberts call her as a witness? Why else?
For so many years, she used her voice to fight unfair treatment, sexism, bullying, and abuse of power, and she shaped her whole image around protecting women who cannot defend themselves. And that became her brand.
There's this new article that came out that reads Meghan Markle's CV included adult entertainment and entertaining guests for Jeffrey Epstein.
And then when the world focused on the dark cloud around Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, Meghan did not even whisper one word, no tweet, no interview, no little hint, nothing at all. And the silence felt so cold and intentional because it was not just quiet. It was quiet at a time when people expected her to speak loudly.
Do I have any doubts that Meghan Markle was a call girl? Of course not. I don't have any doubts whatsoever. I believe that she's been protected not because of who she is, but because of the connections of the people that put her there.
Some fans said she stayed silent to respect the monarchy. Others believed she wanted to avoid interference, but none of that fits her history because she never stayed quiet when calling out racism in the palace. She never hesitated to expose cruelty. She never backed down from the British media, so why, when the biggest royal scandal exploded, did she disappear from the conversation? The truth is not simple and definitely not accidental.
Meghan Markle being part of this whole ordeal, I believe she's a nobody, but she's a nobody who knows who put her there. And this is why things are tricky right now for everybody. And this is why those documents were redacted.
Her silence was not weakness, it was strategy. And when you look deeper, it becomes clear. She was not just protecting her reputation, she was protecting something much bigger, because her voice is powerful, and if she spoke at the wrong time, it could burn everything down. But what if staying silent is even more dangerous than talking? Keep watching, because what happens next changes the whole story.
People like Meghan Markle or Jeffrey Epstein don't just suddenly pop out of nowhere. And if they do, it's because they're planted there. We know that Meghan Markle, sure, she went after Harry, but she had help getting there.
From the start of her public life, Meghan wanted to be the woman who does not look away from ugly truths long before she met Harry. She spoke openly about gender, inequality, abuse of power, and the pressure on women to stay silent when powerful men benefit from it. Her whole identity was based on breaking silence. So when the Prince Andrew and Epstein scandal reached global headlines, people assumed she would be the first royal voice to address it. She had the platform, she had the influence, she had the history of speaking out. So everyone waited for her response, but she gave none. No interviews, no comments, no podcast mentions, nothing. And what shocked people even more was that she spoke about every other controversial subject at the same time. She talked about racism in the monarchy, emotional trauma inside palace walls, and the British press attacking her. But she would not say a single thing about the strongest royal crisis happening in front of the world.
St. Maxwell, according to the article, says that she did know Meghan Markle. Let's not forget that Virginia Roberts called her as a witness because she had information.
Her supporters tried to explain it away, but nothing made sense. This was not fear, not distraction, not a mistake. This was a calculated decision to not engage at all, and people began to wonder if someone somewhere needed her to stay quiet, because inside the royal system, silence is not a choice. It is forced. Every royal follows strict rules, every word is controlled, every interview is planned. And when the Epstein scandal exploded, the palace went into emergency mode, and their number one goal was to stop any royal voice from talking about it, including Meghan and Harry, even though they were not involved because Meghan was seen as the biggest risk. She was emotional, honest, unpredictable, and she could take over the whole story if she spoke.
But going back to Meghan Markle, apparently she went by the name Flower. That was her character name because for some reason, she wants to portray herself as this demure person. This woman who has, I want to put it kindly and nicely, has been around the block so many times. There's already like a
Behind closed doors, Meghan was not told to avoid the topic. She was told to become invisible on that topic. No comments, no answers, no interviews, no indirect messages. And whether she liked it or hated it, she had no choice. As long as she was a working royal, it was not hesitation, it was orders from the institution. But here is the twist. When Harry and Meghan left royal duties, that rule should have ended, yet she still stayed quiet. And that is when the story moved from royal pressure to Hollywood branding. Because when they entered global media with Foundation's streaming contracts, interviews, and shows, everyone thought she would finally speak freely, but she still avoided the Epstein subject because her team knew that if she even touched that topic, she would forever be linked to one of the darkest scandals ever, and her new brand needed to be about empowerment, success, and cultural influence, not about royal disaster.
Is trying to pave the way back for Meghan Markle, almost like Fergie, to come back. But Ghislaine revelations put Meghan in a very, very bad light. Because if it is all true, Meghan Markle is way worse than
Every interview was planned to protect her new image. Oprah focused on racism, trauma, and motherhood. Spotify was about women and personal growth. Netflix was about their love story and palace conflict. And every interviewer was blocked from bringing up the Epstein subject, not because Meghan was scared, but because that topic could destroy the entire brand they were building. But then a streaming executive asked a surprise question that exposed how fragile the strategy really was, and it sent shockwaves through everyone because as soon as Prince Andrew became the center of the Epstein crisis, the monarchy feared total collapse. And they knew the worst thing that could happen was Meghan speaking because she had the attention of the whole world and she was never scared to expose truth.
protecting who put Meghan there, who is behind Meghan's sudden rise or being able to infiltrate the royal family so quickly, to infiltrate that circle of people, because it's really hard to break into the royal family. You have to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And yes, I do know that she was aware of people and she had some friends, but how did she get there? And it all leads back to Soho House and Ron Burkle.
From the palace view, if Meghan commented on Epstein even indirectly, it would be catastrophic. Even showing sympathy for the victims would make the family look guilty. And she did not need to accuse anyone for global headlines to erupt. Her opinion alone would cause a meltdown. So her silence became a shield, not just for Andrew, but for the survival of the royal family. And even after leaving royalty, she still carried the weight of that risk. And then came the moment she almost spoke when an American network asked her to join a documentary about the modern monarchy. And it seemed safe until someone asked if she would talk about the Andrew scandal, and that one question destroyed the whole deal. Because if she refused, people would think she was hiding something, and if she answered, she would be trapped in the scandal forever. So her team pulled out instantly and shut down the project.
Everything at the heart of all of this is always Fergie, guys. Fergie is always at the heart of all of this. This woman is a terrible thing, and she's known Meghan Markle for quite some time. And isn't it incredible? Because Jeffrey Epstein was in 2000 invited also to the biggest bash of the decades that they had. That biggest bash included really close people with the royal family, and there's even said that the Queen unknowingly danced with Jeffrey Epstein.
The public never heard about what happened next, but the palace did, and panic spread, especially around Prince William, who had been living with the fear that Andrew's scandal could destroy the future of the institution he is supposed to lead. And William saw Meghan as unpredictable, bold, and media savvy, and the idea that she could speak about royal accountability terrified him because one sentence from her that suggested silence was shameful would destroy decades of denial. And Harry was stuck between the two because he understood Meghan needed her voice, but he also understood William was protecting the monarchy. And the result was that Meghan had to choose between the life she was building in America and the family she left behind. And now it is clear why she stays silent. She is not silent because she does not care. And not silent because she is afraid. She is silent because she knows one sentence from her could destroy everyone involved, including the people she still cares about. And sometimes silence is not fear. It is the only way to stop irreversible damage. And if she ever speaks one day, the world will not just listen, it will stop. And if you want to understand even more about how Meghan rose inside elite circles, go watch our previous video about her Soho House era, because once you see that story, everything finally clicks. And make sure you subscribe to Bella Breaks Down, where the truth always comes out no matter how hard the world tries to hide it. So, now tell me this, if Meghan ever finally speaks, do you think she will protect the royal family or expose everything once and for all? And whose side do you think she truly stands with? Comment your answer, because this debate is about to explode, and do not forget to subscribe to Bella Breaks Down, where secrets never stay hidden.